What if Superman had a son who was raised by a villain and turned into an almost unstoppable threat? In a possible future of the DC universe, we meet Pyrrhos, the dark heir of Kal-El. I'm Andrew the Geek Master, and in today's video, we're going to find out who this character is, what he did to the House of El, and how Superman himself chose to confront him. To not miss stories like this one, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's get started. The story begins with Superman's descendants, the House of El, facing off against an army of parademons from Apokolips. The battle takes place in a base on Earth's moon, known as the Sanctuary Fortress, which serves as the family's headquarters. Inside, Brainiac 4 works on the systems, while the heroes arrive carrying wounded allies. With the situation critical and no word from the United Planet's reinforcements, Brainiac 4 suggests evacuation. This is where we're introduced to Clark's descendants, the gentle Brandon Kent, a peaceful soul who worries about his daughter, the Ander, a young half-Tamaranian who prefers to act on her own. Then there's Kal-El, a fierce Phalosian warrior married to Allura, the leader of the Valkyries of the House of El. And although he fears for her safety, he's wise enough not to speak of it. The active Superman and current leader of the House of El in this era is Ronan Kent. Upon receiving the battlefield report, he remains confident they'll make it through, just as they've done before. But everything changes with the arrival of Rowan Kent, the superwoman of this era, who also wields a Blue Lantern ring. She's Ronan's sister and brings alarming news. The Lantern Alliance has failed, and the threat before them has never been faced by any known army. It's revealed that the central enemy is the Red King, a conqueror who commands not only Apokolips but also the gods of New Genesis. His fleet includes ships from every world he's conquered, and not even the United Planets could stop him. Ronan tries to stay hopeful, trusting that Brainiac 4 is still searching for reinforcements, but the android admits that he gave up weeks ago. Since then, he's been focusing on one last gamble, something uncertain, but perhaps a flicker of salvation. Meanwhile, a new wave of parademons is approaching. The Valkyries of the House of El led the counterattack, fighting back the creatures and creating an opening. During the battle, Brandon Kent spots a group of enemies handling a kryptonite bomb. He flies them high above to get them away from his family, but the explosion reaches him and kills him instantly. The Ander witnesses it and, consumed by grief, unleashes her powers in a burst of pure fury. The contrast between her and her father is clear in her words. Brandon Kent of Earth was kind, gentle, and loved even his enemies. He was everything Theander of Tamaran is not. Yes, Theander is pure destruction. Her attack is devastating, portrayed in powerful visual sequences full of impact. Inside the fortress, Brainiac 4 finally detects what he's been searching for: hope. He wastes no time and runs to Allura, announcing that he's finally found the one thing he was betting everything on. But in the very next moment, a figure moving at incredible speed tears through the base and slices Brainiac's body in half. It's Tanda, the future's black racer, who works directly for the Red King. The superfamily tries to respond, but the speedster escapes using her velocity. When the heroes gather around Brainiac 4's remains, they hear a voice. Not Brainiac's, but the Red King's, using the android's body to deliver a message. There is no hope. Just like every other kingdom, Earth will fall unless they reject the name of the House of El. Hearing those words, Allura removes her helmet and uses her heat vision to destroy what's left of Brainiac 4, offering him a worthy rest. Later, Ronan finds Theander on a quiet rooftop, watching the horizon. He knows no words will ease the pain of losing her father. Even so, he stays by her side, respecting the grief she carries. Theander remembers how Brandon used to tell her stories about the legendary House of El. But as she grew older, her mother told her those stories were just made up. Now, with Brandon's real death, She wonders if Kal-El ever really existed. Maybe there was a planet called Krypton. Maybe refugees really did arrive on Earth. But that idealized superhero, the symbol of hope, truth, and justice who vanished into the skies, might have only been a myth. Ronan listens and replies calmly, saying Kal-El was real, for Brainiac 4 and for Brandon, and that tomorrow they would all honor those who had fallen. At dawn, the promise of war becomes real. The Red King begins his assault by unleashing 4 doomsdays on Earth. It's true, all of them are grotesque copies of the original destruction machine, and as the attack begins, the superfamily charges into battle with a cry of unity, invoking truth and justice. As the battle intensifies, the heroes face the monsters with all their strength, while the parademons launch a devastating aerial strike. Amid the chaos, the Black Racer returns, darting through the defenses and heading straight for the heart of the sanctuary. Kal-El spots her charge and alerts his wife, Allura, who quickly reacts by using her energy lasso to capture the speedster. The powerful warrior declares that Tanda should never have come back, because not even the gods escape the consequences of their sins. Meanwhile, Ronan endures the brutal blows of one of the doomsdays. He holds his ground as best he can until, using his heat vision, he strikes one of the enemy ships and sends it crashing down on the monster, managing to take out one of the creatures. Kal-El watches in admiration, but before he can react, he's struck from behind by a blast of heat vision that hits the back of his neck and brings him down. The attack comes from none other than Pyrrhos, the Red King himself, who arrives wearing a red armor marked with the crest of the House of El. Pyrrhos addresses the heroes, calling them cousins. He delivers a speech claiming that his reign will be benevolent and that, under his rule, the House of El's symbol, now associated with shame, will be restored with honor. But his words only spark outrage. The superfamily accuses him of betrayal and charges at the Red King, but Pyrrhos fights back with fury, effortlessly taking each of them down. During the clash, he reveals his origin. He's not just another descendant, he's a direct son of Kal-El, and in a brutal move, he lifts Theander by the neck and declares that Kal-El was real. At that moment, Superman Ronan appears and lands a precise blow on Pyrrhos, managing to free the young woman. With resolve, he states that Kal-El chose the name Clark Kent, and that there is absolutely nothing of Clark in the man standing before them. And so, the two Supermen engage in a fierce battle. Around them, Rowan, the Blue Lantern Superwoman, projects an energy dome to contain the Doomsdays and block the enemy forces. This is Earth's last line of defense, and it's on the verge of collapse. Kal-El, though wounded, regains consciousness, and looking up to the sky, notices something strange. At that moment, a colossal gust of wind begins to form. The Doomsdays and Pyrrhos' army are violently swept away, hurled into the distance by an invisible force. As the dust settles, all eyes turn to the same spot. There's only one person who could have done something like that. Pyrrhos, now completely enraged, demands that this presence show itself and face him. And that's when he finally appears, the real Superman. An older Clark Kent, wearing a new suit with his cape draped over one shoulder. Yes, Kal-El returns to Earth before his descendants and enemies and declares that his son will have to answer for his actions. The revelation that Kal-El is still alive brings the battlefield to a standstill. Pyrrhos, now unhinged, charges at his father, haunted by the words of his mother, Circe. Yes, somehow the sorceress Circe had a child with Superman. She had told Pyrrhos he would become more powerful than Clark Kent. But as Clark himself says, she was wrong about many things. So much so that Kal-El not only withstands his son's attacks with extreme ease, but also dodges them gracefully, as if he can anticipate every move. When Pyrrhos resorts to heat vision, Clark responds with a single well-placed slap that knocks him down without effort. Then, placing his foot on his son's chest, he tells him to stay down, His tone is firm but not cruel. Clark doesn't want to punish him, he just wants to talk. He explains that Cersei drove him away and led him down a dark path, but now he's here and he knows they need each other. Cal reveals that the dimension where Cersei imprisoned him is on the verge of collapse, and that world needs a Superman. He's not talking about himself. He's talking about Pyrrhos. That's why he reaches out his hand to his son, hoping he'll have the chance to become the man he always dreamed of being. Faced with those words, Pyrrhos finally lowers his guard, swallows his pride, and agrees to go with his father. At that moment, Theander approaches and looks Kal-El in the eye. Still shaken, she wants to be sure he really is the man from the stories her father used to tell. Superman doesn't answer with grandeur. He simply says he's proud of all of them, that seeing his children surpass what he once was is one of life's greatest joys, and that he knows Brandon felt the same. Clark then flies with his son into the sky. But before leaving, he makes a promise that he will return someday. However, the story of what happened here belongs to the House of El to tell and to give hope to others. And so were truth and justice served once more by 7 scions of a fallen sun. Their task, the age of heroes to restore, their never-ending battle just begun. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the content, leave a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought about this story and about Superman's son. And of course, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next adventure.